Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bună dimineața, doamnelor și domnilor, and welcome to our 11th Romanian Australian event at the State Library of New South Wales. Acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we are meeting here today. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connection to the lands and waters of New South Wales. Thank you. We are here today to celebrate volume number 8 of the Romanian Australian Anthology of Contemporary Poetry and Prose. And I think that we are all aware now that 2024 is the dragon year. But when we started the anthology, this project, volume number 8, we had no idea. It was maybe 2 years ago, and we didn't check at all. So our idea came from a series of paintings by Luminita Serbanescu from Ottawa, Canada, entitled Dancing Dragons. Well, a coincidence or not, we are really enjoying the book today. And this is a book. Yeah, everybody has it, I suppose. And if not, you are going to have it after the event. Right. First things first, so we need to know our theme for today, even if the client was a little bit unfriendly to us, but we still have the theme on the video. Can we have the video, please, with the theme? Partnership with State Library of New South Wales, but not only in Australia. Let's see what was going on in Romania in November last year.
Hello everybody. I feel obliged now, even more than I was already, to say thank you to Mihaela, not just for inviting me to speak today, but for that amazing video. It's a very surreal experience. It's not something you see every day. There'll be few time to do this in a proper proportion, but I just want to take a few seconds to say that I love Romania. I love the Romanian people. I can't thank them enough for their generosity while I was there. And not only to thank my translator and friend Mihaela, of course, but also Vasily Plano, who is the publisher of a blog box of my own, and my Romanian friends Andre, Bella, and my other Romanian friend who I met while I was there, Bobo. Great people, wonderful people. Here we are. And as Mihaela has already pointed out, first we are here in the Year of the Dragon, in the lunar calendar sense. It's the anniversary of birth for the ambitious, the confident and the charismatic, as it happens. But also, of course, we're here in the Year of the Dragon in the Romanian, Australian anthology sense. To know dragons from a Romanian perspective, I've consulted the seminal Romanian author Mircea Eliade, his book A Myth of the Eternal Return, where he describes the primordial dragon as the serpent almost everywhere, symbolizing what is latent, pre-formal, undifferentiated, an animate entity of plenipotentiary energies. And for the local sense, the primordial serpent, we know, is a creature sometimes called the rainbow serpent, or Lumari, or by 100 other names, whose dancing shaped the mountains and valleys, rivers and lakes, and in some tellings of that story, fed all the creatures common to this land with its abundant milk, and whose creative enormity features so memorably in the opening of the Lexus Wright's Carpentaria. You already know that it was by chance dragons were the theme for this anthology in the Year of the Dragon, but you might not know that the colours on the cover of the anthology, blue and gold, are the auspicious colours for the Year of the Dragon. In our Romanian Australian anthology of contemporary poetry and prose is gilded in the blue and gold auspices of Luminita Serbanescu's irresistible image of invitation, where we're invited to dance with mythical entities of chaos, readers, writers, Romanians, and Australians alike. And our first English language dance is with a reluctant lover. It's a creation of guest author Augustus Supple, where a fairy tale, myth, and archetype emancipates our heroine from the reluctant sacrifices of a surveilling social scene till a call to adventure draws out our dreamer into a dragon's den, and then she must face a smouldering man with Neptune eyes and soot-scaled skin to slay or tame him with songs and understanding. The dancing dragons in Peter Cartwright's poetry are twins. They're red, and they're blue, and they hang above a bed like charms on silver chains, and they rock back and forth as wild winds rattle the windows, and they set the soaring serpents on the wing, chasing never-ending nightmares out of mind, or bullies from the parading streets, and they fill the belly with a fire that swims like storms of beating blood. And the fireworm in Jane Barhayu's delicate, silky poems utters, "I am an anxious caterpillar," in a voice as subtle as charade, is enveloped in a chrysalis cave, tucked in the blue untangling minds of private diarist entreaties, stolen by this wicked witch, whose flying monkey parrot crescent eyes mock as it pecks and claws this ancient, anxious, fledgling butterfly. You have to beware the blaze that burns from the flickering flame of Daniel Vera's ruin of the rapacious. There's a pair of bungling burglars, Mac and Jake. They plan to pillage this slumberous chamber where there's an heiress with a hunger for meat, whose hoard is piled in these mounds of illuminated moonlight knifed to a grimy window, and she's snoring in this cavernous, empty darkness with the golden gleam of the fiery eyes entombed. And there's a delay of 17 years in the underpass of Katuba. Begins with an excess of exhalation as hot, swirling smoke from the throat of Joe in Marion Clare's fire-fueled account of the underground encounters. Inebriated poets in disembodied voices, they're punctuated by the electric cackle of his courses and his curse in the cool air and the drip of stagnant water in the gloom, sparked by the tobacco ember. It is a powerful dream, an illusion, an inner power that turns to blazing grief in the poetry of the Strange Fires by Anastase, where the stars have ceased to shine and the sun smoked from the heavens by dancing flames, in hungry fits of scented innocence and angels with soot-smeared faces that battle the wind-born inferno while a kookaburra watches from a stump amidst the dark dead forest of moan and ash. Debbie stirs, and Carol Amos is dreaming to the words of giggling picnic girls and offerings of ham salad sandwich and chocolate brownie washed with fresh lemonade on the picnic blanket bed where she dreams of Hector, who's newly winged, and the pair they take to the air and they reach a billowy cloud where dragons dare to reel and dance within, inhaling the sulphurous scent of smoke before it becomes a cry on Debbie's lip. Josefina Schreiber delivers a collection of dragons, a charm, an allure, an order, and a wasteland of wounds and scars from the stars with the power to dream up books of birds and butterflies and flowers and poems on the lapel to remind you that I am human too. And I need to talk and tell you about the things that I've seen and read, and to remind you that another world exists. It's a multiverse of purple fire, like the dream at the edge of the world that's coming to you in a single battle. The sour cherry orchard heart, but it comes apart like a madman's game of chess. And the gap between the dream and the real is coming together in Robin Young's The Dance of Puff and Little Jackie Paper. It's a song between mother and child, a QR code and a Spotify account. The deep whir of imagination as a child's innocence tugging on a dragon's tail and the frill of a flamingo dancer's dress, a wing like a matador's cape, flashing red, scaled skin of sleep and sun. There's an inner child with the light and the unconscious, unchosen door in Alona Kruger's verse of diverging follies. And one, the deep deceptions of philosophy under which the reason groans in overflow. Two, the riches of diamonds and lavish adornment to hoard. Three, vain glories, rippling platitudinal allure. And then an alliterative other portal behind which the meaning of life delights in sweet curls of music and bird song for the soul. Lara Taylor faces dilemmas of her own in words to accompany morning coffee. Sitting with questions that dive below the surface to a core of love, compassion and faith. Keeping still in fear's nauseous fangs. Their bitter bite is the very act of creation, the words on this page, on this tongue, in this room with us now, as we think of loved ones far away and face the monstrous day, hopeless, except for the eternal return of the inner spirit. Poetry is the soul personified for Aurelia Satchel, whose Australia is this endless ocean, giant fields filled with the Ouroboros of groggy dreams, and fish flung back to sea from wooden dinghies, as kookaburra calls break out over the Antipodean highways, and the trinity of sky, land and sea transmutes a yearning for more, like the voltage touch of a spider on the palm's tender skin. A brave recollection is the subtle art in Belinda Kirby's bold vision, manifest ambition, the flaring red against the flaming expanse, like two parachuting wings of a soul seized on the path to unlimited becomings. A dancing charmer, enlisting fearless perceptions for the life treasures that are almost worth wresting out of dragons' jaws. The waking dream for Eric Esper is the prince's dragon, where the dance floor is filled with delighted fantasies, a young boy's birthday party. conjuration of fireworks and wonder, a witch's spell, and the shadow of a mother's loss, all escaped with one hand on the magic carpet flight, with lingering looks, a long and lonely journey between innocence and throne. Louise Looms begins St. Carmel with Beelzebub, belching hell itself in the ears of children while God's away on business. Little ones, they scatter in all directions. They fly down the halls in calls for Mama and the Virgin Mary. An unborn baby goes up in a puff of smoke. It leaves little Carmel barely baptized beneath a bunch of blankets while the devil plays the long game, tempting a saint who peddles desperate prayers with a bald baby tucked to his chest. An oil painter's art sees C.A. Broadrib's reflections at Lake Narracam, dabbled in the elusive golden light of late afternoon, aglow against the placid water's mirror. It's not the kind that you hang on a wall to see the untamable tangle of your hair or wonder where the colour of your eyes might come from, but the sort of mirror where a black and blue bird watches you back as you think of questions to a silent scene, and the birds respond in long, lingering cries and the cold creeps in. There's a black river that ends the long ago of Mihaela Cristescu's On Leaving the Library. It's a time of demons and deserts, where the master's voice is in remission, wandering around the clockwork adjustments of mind alight with pleasure and names, fine drawings with golden letters in their manuscript, leaving friends like an open book when the desert begins to bloom, and the little blue creatures fly from the running waters, and the land is covered in confusion, and we're found departed from our work. And we begin this collection with a quotation from Carl Jung, and we end it the same way. So I thought I would end with a quote from Carl Jung, who saw the dragon as an ever-dancing world spirit. He said, as dragon, he devours himself, and as dragon, he dies, to rise again as the lapis. He is the play of colours in a peacock's tail, and the division of the four elements. He is the hermaphrodite that was in the beginning, that splits into brother and sister, to appear again at the end, in a radiant form of lumen novum, the world's stone. He is metallic, yet liquid, matter, yet spirit, is cold, yet fiery, is poison, yet healing. He is a symbol uniting all opposites. The dragon, with its fangs clamped to the end of its tail, is the wheel of the world, an alchemical creature of creative energies that are deeper and more profound than the darkest trench in a silent chasm. And only those people who are willing to dance with creation itself, as our brave writers have, may wrest the treasures that are most precious from the jaws. To dance with dragons requires courage and self-sacrifice. And for their courage today and their sacrifices in putting this collection together, English and Romanian writers like this reader and the readers to come will rejoice. And I invite you now, please, to appreciate them with a round of applause. Thank you.
Last year, on the 11th of November, we celebrated 10 years of partnership with the State Library of New South Wales. And I remember very well in 2013, in November 2013, when I actually called the library for the first time. And I talked to our dear friend from today, Oriana Acevedo. We are here to thank Oriana for her friendship and could you please come and tell us something?
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to meet you all. You know, thank you for this second. I won't talk too much. I have retired this year, but I hope that we will continue being invited, so I'll come and listen to the wonderful poetry and all the wonderful things that you create, and an opportunity to say hello to my neighbor Fernando. You know, and I will continue going with Fernando playing music and I'll go dancing. That's the way it is. So it's been a wonderful experience to work for the State Library, but more than anything is to connect with the communities. I mean, what do I know about Romania? What do I know about poetry? Not much, unless I meet people. And I just listen what you say and try to process, you know, and thinking where all these wonderful words come from. So I hope to see you next year and the year after and forever until we know more. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Catalin Anastase is an actor and photographer, born in a family of artists coming from medieval Transylvania and the historic Dobruja, Romania. He started photography in November 1987 with black and white portraiture and light painting photography, adapting it in a romantic way to portraiture using the technique called chiaroscuro. I see the photographer and the subject instantly connected through a light beam revealing only the essentials of the face or body, highlighting only the story, he said.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are waiting someone like a Tutankhamun, you know, with the armor, because I'm coming from Transylvania, so. So pretty much it's not a very medieval appearance as I am. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to say some poems in Romanian and in English as well, as required. Prima poezie este scrisă de Luminita Serbanescu, se numește Ce nu se vede. Poate de aceea e necesar întunericul. Ca să nu poți vedea cum în fiecare casă cineva se luptă cu propria tihanie. Și dă un rapoi de uimire la picior alb. Se aude prin druții de fier forjat cu care cei pricopsiți și-au consolidat colibele din luturi moale al falei. Și se aude și zgomot de nenumărat din acceptările, târâșurile, marșurile. Soldatul lear e încălțat cu cipici de furnici și fumează pacea de a doua zi. Când se va face focul în casa înfrigurată de un nou atac de panică, tihania neduplicată va lua toată căldura și și-o va pune pe după umeri, invidia va striga din capul străzii, iar e petrecere la casa cu leu. Pentru ei și în afara orelor de program. Cine plătește factura ca să aibă ăștia mereu aprinsă iederea care leagă poarta până ce primul om nimerește gaura care nu cunoaște cheie? Dar se face lumină din oficiu și se instaurează republică, democrație și civilizație, alfabetizarea nicărilor, pace în orice casă, naratorul utopic și obtuz, cu prins în minciuna mică, obsesia pune un reflector pe eroul zilei și nimeni nu mai mișcă viu. Aceasta a fost Luminița Potărnică. Mai departe, este Victoria Dragu Dimitriu. Absența. N-a fost ieri, nici azi, nu o să vină nici mâine. Absența este cu mult mai mult decât a fi aici și acum, într-un colț real, nu într-o firidă a memoriei, undeva îmbrăcat în trup, îmbrăcat în surâs, îmbrăcat în speranțe. Absența e copleșitoare, invizibilă, imponderabilă. Absența apasă din greu, îți strivește inima. E mare cât lumea se adună între durerile tale și devine aerul tău, spaima ta, viața ta. De mine însă, lumea e bună. Lumea îți spune de la început, focul arde, apa te ia în bulboane, pământul se poate cutremura, aerul aduce nevăzute vârtejuri, miasme uitate și necunoscute otrăvuri. Lumea îți spune de cum te vede pe piciorușele tale, mândru să faci primii pași. Ai grijă. Chiar dacă zadarnic, ai grijă. Cerul e albastru. Iarba e moale, cărarea e netedă. Dar într-o singură clipă, totul se poate schimba. Numai tu, tot tu cu puterile tale același rămâi și trebuie să înfrunți vântul îți umflă veșmintele largi. Treci prin mulțime cu fruntea ta mare și câte o femeie cu ochi foarte triști se oprește privind după tine. Nevestele mele, șoptești, care le-au murit, care le singure viața și-au luat. Și râsul tău e albastru și sumbru, acum intri într-un aprilie de întuneric, mergi mândru, dar pe dinăuntru cămeșoiul e gol. N-a rămas decât coaja de caz, se va sparge. Îți joci fără patimă ultimul rol. Mai avem imagine cu maci. Frate al meu, iubitul meu frate, cu ochii verzui și fără apărare, îți amintești liniștit la cărarea prin mărăcini spre cetate? Din copilărie rămâne o amintire fără legătură cu ridul săpat lângă gură și mâinile noastre bătrâne. Cer dulce înalt, fără nori, maci, iarba înaltă, curată. Și mama cu fusta înflorată și pruncii ei încrezători. Ce facem? Trecem la Ionel Șerban? Eu mai am, vreau să fac recital numai eu. Ionel Șerban, România. Puterea gândului, imaginația și amintirea sunt trăiri care mă inspiră, spune autorul. Natura, frumosul și starea de bine îmi activează simțul artistic, moment ideal pentru fotografie și nu numai. Întâmplător ori nu, uneori dragolul interior se dezlănțuie inexplicabil în ființa mea și atunci îmi vine în minte multe amintiri. Pași prin amintiri. Undeva într-un cătun, din sub Carpații Buzăului, copii fiind, ascultam fascinat legende ale locului transmise din nou în nou de generații. Băbuțele satului întregeau și ele legendele bunicii atunci când se întâlneau la fântâna din partea satului. Amiaza zilei era totdeauna vestită de răgetul hi-ho al măgarilor țaței rada de la fântână, iar lumea satului numea ceasul Motoarei, cei care vedeau ora exactă până hăt departe, dincolo de sat. Astfel că sătenii plecați cu vitele la păscut dimineața de vreme la auzul măgarilor, se porneau cu turbele lor către case pentru așa zisă pauză de nămiază. Când despre țața rada o întoarcă, Se vorbea prin sat că ar fi neam de uriașilor, aceia erau femeie înaltă și bunică, cu picioare mari, palme mari și voce groasă. De altfel, aceasta era o femeie cum se cade și foarte de treabă. Cândva în trecutul îndepărtat al locului acesta se spune că a trăit prin grotele din Valea Botei surpate astăzi o familie de căpcăuni uriași. Aceștia aveau o fiică ce ar fi îndrăznit să meargă singură într-un loc unde nu era permis accesul de către părinții săi. Întâmplător, acolo a găsit un om cu pereche de boi și un plug în timp ce își era grădina. Neștiind ce sunt, îi ridică de jos și îi puse în palma sa, ca pe o jucărie. După care se întoarse cu ei la părinții. Dar uriașii căpcăuni nu au fost deloc încântați de isprava fiicelor și au cerut să-i ducă de grabă înapoi și să-i așeze ușor pe locul de unde i-a luat, deoarece oamenii sunt viitorul acestei lumi. Cam așa era legenda bunicii în ceea ce privește existența căpcăunilor uriași prin aceste locuri. De altfel, descoperirile din munții Buzăului confirmă existența unor oameni mult mai mari decât în mod normal. Atenție! Și curiozitatea noastră a copiilor de atunci veniți în vacanță era cu adevărat mare față de toate aceste legende auzite. Așa că legendele bunicii și ale sătenilor de atunci încă mai bântuie primite și acum. Un fel de dragon ai vremurilor noi. Veniți parcă din pasmă populară în amintiri târzii, pierduți prin satul acela de odinioară. Acesta a fost Ion Nelu Șerban. Ștefan Dimitriu. Poezia se cheamă Ritornero. Nu are un nume românesc, dar noi știm ce înseamnă. M-ai lăsat 10 de ani să-ți duc dor. Poezia mea. Înțeleaptă. Părăsit ca un sens giratoriu cu ieșire la prima la dreapta. M-ai lăsat 10 de ani să-ți aștept mir de leac pentru răni îndelung adunate, mai ales pentru rana din piept, mai afurisită ca toate. În genunchi mă torc iar la tine, ca într-un cântec vechi, de 2 lei. Privegheat ca de somnul unei feline, de ochii și dragostea unei femei. Stare de veche, stare de vis și de grație, sărbătoare, alaie de cuvinte, te adaptezi astăzi la situație, flori de hârtie pe sfintele mele morminte. Nici o plecare nu mă mai sperie. Pe mulți am iubit, pe toți am iertat. Loc sublim al cuvintelor, divină materie, paranteza se închide într-un chip minunat cu strălucirea lor să-mi încălzească sufletul, să-mi parcurg drumul zilei spre noapte și poate al vieții către moarte. Filozofia semidoctă. Omul sfințește locul pe care îl va spurca. El este cel ce lumea vrea să o schimbe, sărman copil în fața îndoielii și a sorții. El este infinitul. Forma finită a vieții. Ce clipă e să nu plătească omul? Ce ani trăiți în var? Ce înțelepciune? Un sentiment de inferioritate într-o lume dominată de idei eronate, aroganță și brutalitate. Înger și demon în același timp. Al cumei fiu plăpând, modelând realitatea după probleme existențiale pentru forțele sale esențiale, s-au transformat în filozofi și tot ce și-ar dori ar fi esența deșertăciunii. Cu interese și motivații proprii, deliciul ei este crimă. De plin având mitocănesc, viața fără culoare, nici fericirea cu nume vrednic n-are, amestec nobil de înclinări contrare, percepție și sens în existență, o punte între nimic și providență. Orice minune pentru om e omul. Divinitatea. Azi ai rupt vulcanul mărginirii, iar lava lui este tăcerea în infinit, ca Prometeu am suferit cumplit, un presupus rival dumnezeirii. Ca Iisus Hrist pe cruce răstignit am cunoscut păcatul greu al firii de a revela zănate omenirii gustul mortal al fructului oprit. Cum ar putea să fie altfel sfârșitul când omenirea nu iubește saltul? Nu stă prea mult pe cruce răzleitul, te prăbușești rapid din prea înaltul, căci tu ai mâniat pe neadormitul, voind să cucerești neantul. poetul Ștefan Dimitriu, în numele totului. Când viața trage în tine cu toate flintele, uneori simți că nu-ți mai ajung cuvintele pentru toate văzutele și nevăzutele, pentru toate întâmplările, stările, ori mirările de pe margine sau de pe centru. Chiar dacă e la nevoie mai potropui puțin cele alte câteva limbi destul de familiare care ți-au însoțit trecerea prin această lume tot mai năucitoare. Dar ce să mai lungim? De dimineață, când de peste tot năvălise lumina, am simțit cum la oaltă cu ea, din tot locul pătrundea în sufletul meu, Tirimogodina. O vedeam izburând din albul pereților, din rama tablourilor, din albul ușilor și al ferestrelor și al bibelourilor, mirosind ca speranța, lunecând ca o sanie, moale ca un ulei de mir, dulce ca un vin de împărtășanie. Era ca un cuib, ca un val, ca o vară. O vedeam, auzeam, respiram prima oară. Era floare de crin și plâns de vioară. Fuiori de frunze uscate repezite în lună, sirenă de vas, pe o mare nebună, glas duios de copil zumzăind ca albina, ea în numele totului, Tirimogodina. Cui să spun asta fără să mă ia de nebun? Pe cine să fac să vadă în clipa asta ca mine, orizontul florind peste bol și mâine, ca o coadă imensă de păun? Ca o cortină de voală ridicată până la astre ca să-mi ferească privire de măcel și dezastre. De bine să fie Covidu, variola maimuțelor, Ucraina, nu știu cui să-i cer socoteală. Pe cine să dau acum vina? Pe cine să iau de piept? Pe cine să jur de grijanie? Trăiască deci cuvântul nou. Lunecos ca o sanie. Mai promițător ca speranța. Mai unduios ca lumina. Mai serafic, mai pur decât mire de pe muntele Găina. Tirimogodi, Tirimogoda, Tirimogodina. Îl mai avem și pe Radu Sacău, care locuiește în Australia. Dragonul fantasm în continuă metamorfoză glisează pe sunete și imagini, stărind stranii reverberații, răscolind stratul de semnificații, stratul de timp și emoții. Terasa, se numește ce a scris dânsul. De la un timp fiecare zi devenea mai greu de trăit, scara blocului tot mai greu de urcat, ușa mai greu de deschis, tabloul mai greu de pictat. Singurătatea îl prinsese în pânza ei nătrăgasă, iar gândul că toate amănuntele se vor aglomera într-o rețea de linii tot mai întunecată îl speria până la marasmă. Își aprindea țigară după țigară, căutând cu mâna nesigură cafeaua răcită de ieri, de altă ieri. Camerele mici, pixite de cărți, îl apăsau și tot mai des ieșea pe terasa albă, de unde vedea buza mării însorită. Serile târziu îl prindeau stând pe scaun, privind obiectele din jur și stelele, și luna, lăsându-se pradă vârtejului de amintiri tot mai palide. Abia mai zărea plaja, nisipul mișcat de șerpii vântului, asculta valurile și timpul foșnind sfâșietor. Privi la amfora din colț, la măsuța unde altădată prietenii vorbeau și glumeau la nesfârșit. Se uită prin rama de care agățase într-o parte și în alta o pereche de coarne de cer, urmărind lama orizontului, tăindu-i privirea. Zâmbi, dar un rictus îi îngheță pe buze. I se părea că au depătând cineva și fugi la ușă să deschidă. Nu mai venea nimeni. Râdea de sine, se întorcea pe terasă să privească iar și iar ființa într-o din obiecte adunate din gunoi, aduse de prieteni, potrivite pentru întușartele fantastic, dragonul fascinant ridicat spre cer. Și a scris și o poezie care se cheamă Trauma. Burta balaurului nopții se lăsease peste Mihaela. Nu trec mult timp și explozia răsună, tulburând din adânc ape fierbinți. Bărbatul țâșni pe usea joasă, călcă pe ceva lipicios, auzi o trosnitură și văzu nevasta în lumina pâlpâitoare a candelei, se uită spre dreapta, străbătu un goană marchiza, zări o mogăldeață albicioasă, în întunericul din curte. Fugi pe pietrele alei, rănindu-și picioarele goale, apucă cu cleștele mâinilor să aspre gâtul de care țâșni un țipă, încremenii. Își făcea temere pentru acasă când explozia stinsă lampa de pe masă. În pulpa dreaptă simți arsuri puternice și cămașa de noapte îi se lipi de picior. udată de un lichid cald. Se ridică și alergă afară. Femeia își făcea rugăciunea cu ochii la candela de pe perete. Auzi explozia, se întoarse pe jumătate, continuă să se închine, înlemnic cu ochii larg deschiși și brațele înțepenite pe lângă corp. Auzi țipătul fetei. Tatăl o ajută să se întoarcă în casă. Când au reaprins lampa cu gaz, trupul copilului zăcea în fața ușii prin care tatăl ieșise, călcând în abdomenul deschis de explozie. Trupul fusese azvârlit din pat, pe pereți bucăți de vălătaie, sânge. Am crezut că e un soldat rus, a tras și a fugit în grevă bărbatul. Femeia plângea înfundată. Fata se așeză pe scaun, copleșită de durere.
It is an honor today that we have here together with us to launch the anthology, Mr. Bogdan Vernier, who is the founder of the Shepherd Moon, a vanguard independent Australian publishing house based in Sydney. Growing up in France, Bogdan fostered an avid passion for literature, engaging from a young age with the works of Balzac, Hugo, and Maupassant. After studying in the UK, Bogdan arrived in Australia in 2017, where he founded the Shepherd Moon with a vision of reimagining the experience of reading through new timeless designs and first-rate quality prints. The house publishes a wide array of literature, including Australian, English, and French authors, as well as original publications in partnership with Red Room Poetry and the Starlight Foundation. Bogdan also works as a consulting economist for the New South Wales government, where he advocates for evidence-based approaches to support continuous public funding in the art. Thank you very much. This is something that would remind
No, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Say,
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks everyone, and thanks for the invitation, and thanks to the readers. I think all those pieces were very impactful, and I think the theme of the dragon, particularly in Romania, resonates quite a bit. I think it's the ballad that is part of all the literature, and obviously all the imagery and symbolism that we see in Elia was mentioned, and obviously Jung as well. So very close to that, very close to those stories. And yeah, it's really great to sort of see the literature that's been pushed forward, and obviously such great authors as the ones that we had today. So thank you very much for the invitation, and yeah, it's nice to meet everyone. Take care.
We are now inviting our English editor, Sue Crawford, for the first bracket of readers.
Before we start introducing some of our readers who will be reading in English, just wanted to say a word for Carol Amos, who is part of the trio of women who help organise this event, with a lot of help from many other people, of course. But Mihaela, myself, and Carol Amos all get together on Facebook, on Messenger or something. This is this complicated series of exchanges about how are we going to deal with that, what's going to happen next, who are we going to ask to do this. And Mihaela, of course, is also doing all the other organising, which Carol and I don't have to. But apologies from Carol. She sounds terrific on the phone, but otherwise she's a bit poorly and hasn't been able to come. By the way, while I'm here, is Lara Taylor here and got to the back without me noticing? No, okay. So the first person I'm going to introduce today is Augusta Supple, who is our guest writer. And I wanted to mention something else while I'm on the way with that. Mihaela's anthologies often contain works in English by Romanian writers, some of which are, of course, translations. Now later, Danny Draper, who I'm glad to see has safely made it through the flooded waters, etc., will read an example of that from Dancing Dragons. Mihaela herself has translated Australian poems into Romanian for publication in Romanian journals and Romanian poets into English for similar reasons. But in July at West Parramatta, our first reader, Dancing Dragons guest writer Augusta Supple, who is familiar with the works of both Luke and Mihaela, we invite them at a session that we've called Found in Translation as opposed to the usual Lost, to reflect on a larger translation project referred to in the video previously at books of its own. I'll probably here somewhere, but I know that you know the look of it. And that this is a collection, a volume of Luke's stories that brings them to the Romanian reader, but side by side, it's the bilingual, it's English also. And of course, everybody here is welcome to attend this event in July on the 6th, and we'll announce the details soon. However, returning to Dancing Dragons today, we now ask Augusta to read an excerpt from her story, The Reluctant Lover. It sounds good, doesn't it?
Chivalry is dead, she thought, unsurprised. She pushed her way in and descended the wooden corkscrew staircase to a room lined with books. Small tables hemmed with empty chairs filled the room, each with their own lamp. She saw the man sit down at the far end of the bar, order whiskey and wait. She surveyed the room for a seat and eyed a place well away from the man. "Can you sit a little closer?" The barwoman, dressed in a faded flannel shirt, implored her. "I've been on my feet all day and I don't feel like walking between the two corners of this room because you two are shy. That's all right with you, isn't it, Alexander?" The man in the brown coat shrugged as he settled back into a green cloth-bound book, hands spread flat across its face like a Rorschach spider. As Frances perched atop a bar stool, she noticed something flash. Metallic blue-black fingernail polish on the tips of his fingers, iridescent like earth beetles catching the light. Turning his face towards her slightly, Alexander curled his fingers into soft fists. Frances gently smiled at him. Alexander turned her gaze. His eyes, metallic blue, dancing like opals, tugged at her heart. After a moment, he looked away. "What can I get you?" the barwoman asked. "Red wine?" Frances spoke softly so as not to disturb the man. He sipped his drink and bowed his head, staring back in the columns of the text in his book. He was unsettled by this woman with her large brown eyes. Sweating, he took off his coat, his shirt catching for a second. Frances saw something metallic and dark flash along his collarbone. Was it a necklace? A gold sovereign fell from his coat pocket, and as both Frances and Alexander instinctively bent to pick it up, their hands touched. Frances felt Alexander's cool, smooth skin, accompanied by a warmth passing through her, headed directly to her heart. For a moment she was overwhelmed. Everything glistened. This new sensation rippled through her like diamonds. Frances felt euphoric, transcendent, eternal, and when she pulled her hand away, a little sooty blister began to swell on her hand where they touched. "I'm sorry," he growled. "I didn't mean to." Something shifted in Frances, a heavy recognition of something ancient and true, garnered from years of reading, and now, here in front of her, could it be? "I wouldn't get too close if I were you. Ask Linda. She'll tell you." He nodded towards the barwoman. Linda's eyes, blue like ocean waves, blinked slowly. "I've got some ice here. Let's patch you up." "Are you hurt?" Frances asked Alexander. He unfurled his fingers, and as he did, Francis saw rows of black iridescent scales retreat, turning back into perfect pale flesh. A sidelong long evolution. It only hurts those that touch me. I wish I knew how it could feel. What if you wore gloves? Alexander shook his head. Doesn't help, just burns through. What I'd give to know the warmth of another who can handle me when my wild moments come. But it's not possible. Best I get back to reading. And I'll leave it there. Thanks.
My apologies, I should have directed you to where Augusta was reading from, page 15. I won't make that mistake again. Now, our next reader is Lara Taylor, but she's caught in some horrible traffic snarl. So we might move on, therefore, to Ana Sacriero, a Romanian writer who contributed 4 short poems in Romanian and 3 translated into English by Irina Cristescu. And she today is going to be read by Danny Draper, who is an excellent poet himself, of course, and one of our best supporters of this project. So, welcome, Danny. You will find the 3 English poems from page 127 if you wish to read them.
Thank you again, Mihaela, for inviting me to read. Sea winds in your absence, the sea ragingly longs to die on your palm or on your lips, breathing you in. Amazing disposition. When you came, I believed in the sun and the colour of a longing sprinkled sky. I was not expecting you. I was not even dreaming that my clouds would disappear, cast out of your way in fear. Amazing colour, disposition in my life. Turned inwardly. No twitch of nature is a dragon's thought. Longing is not just impetuous, but also sky pedestal. Azure sky and depth azure to me. The eye only strains to embrace within. The sorrowful me inwardly turned. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. That was beautifully read. Our next reader is Danielle Vieira, and she enjoys writing for both adults and children, and her debut picture book, The Leftover Lemon Dilemma, which is terrific, was published in 2023. She is going to read an excerpt from page 41, Ruin of the Rapacious. So Danielle, please come up.
Mark leaned forward and hissed, "Are you in or out?" His stale breath snaked around the enclosed space, squeezing the air out of the car. Jake turned his face away. Eyes shifting to the side mirror, he considered the house in the moonlit reflection. A web of weeds entangled 2 levels of peeling paintwork and rusty balustrades. "Are you sure there's something worth stealing?" "The stingy old dragon's sitting on a gold mine," Mac babbled. "Look." He handed Jake a faded newspaper cutting with a heading that read, "Eris Maris Sarkany hosts the Jewels of High Society." The accompanying photo showed an elegant double-storey house with flowers threaded through the fretwork and a pretty young woman in a lounge room oozing luxury. "This was decades ago," said Jake. "She could be long gone, both the Dame and her stuff." "She still lives there." Mac bounced in his seat. "I overheard the butcher complaining about having to deliver meat to her every day. She never leaves the house. She's a recluse, you know." "Why does she need so much meat?" asked Jake, frowning. "Does she own dogs?" He did not fancy running into a roiling pack of Rottweilers. "I staked out the house all day and I didn't see or hear any dogs. There was just a street She always pays with a stack of cash. Jake's grimace lifted. This job may be worth his while after all. I'm in. The two men slunk from the car and crept up to the front door. Jake motioned for Mac to act as a lookout. He then slipped his hand into his satchel and pulled out his well-used picking kit. Within seconds, the lock had clicked. Jake nudged the door ajar and put his ear to the crack. Mute mustiness drifted out and danced around his nostrils. He elbowed the door wider and glided in through the gap. The chink of cool light spilling in via the half-open door did little to illuminate his surroundings. After listening once again and reassuring himself that the old lady was not around, Jake took a small torch from his bag and switched it on. Dull colours blanched beneath the beam. Dusty rugs and murky furniture tumbled from the foyer into the adjoining room. Jake followed their trail, trying to locate something of substance. She must keep the money upstairs, he thought. The steps were carpeted, but Jake realised the risk. Decrepit houses always developed creaks. He trod carefully, trying each stair before putting his full weight on it. As he lingered on the landing, the sound of soft snoring snagged his attention. He tracked it to the bedroom at the end of the hallway. Shards of moonshine cut through the grimy window, spotlighting a prostrate form on the four-poster bed and a mountain of banknotes on the floor.
Thank you very much, Danielle. I gave these poor readers a 2 to 3 sort of limit for reading. You really had better finish them. You're going to be very disappointed. You're going to miss out if you don't finish the clinching lines in those works. So our last reader in this bracket is Marianne Clare. And she describes herself as an infinitely curious writer, fascinated by the power of words to mould entire worlds. You can read along with her piece Delay, which is on page 53, and always remember to finish it off after she's read, okay, at some point when you get a chance. Please come up, Marianne, thank you.
Joe had been waiting 17 years for the next train. The brick wall of Katoomba Station's underpass had long since preserved the imprint of her leaning form. She stared at the wall opposite, following the jagged maze of grout with her eyes. The crumbling brick pattern travelled up behind her back, curved over her head, then descended onto the concrete floor in front. The next train to arrive on platform 2 goes to... When Joe took a deep drag of her JPS cigarette, the end flared with an angry amber glow. She held her breath. The hot smoke swirled around her throat, and she liked the thought of it burning through her moist pink flesh like acid. She held it too long. A sharp ripple of nausea clutched her stomach, and she lurched forward and vomited onto the concrete at her feet. Damn, her favourite dogs. Actually, they weren't dogs. Just the $12 Kmart knockoffs with plastic soles. Still. First stop. Standing up straight, Jo lifted a shaky hand to her mouth and sucked on her cigarette. An icy breeze swept into the tunnel and licked the walls, tickling the stubble on Jo's shaved head as it passed. The tunnel's acoustics made the light draft sound like a whistling gale. As quickly as it entered, the wind abandoned the space. Then all stations too. A rough shout echoed through the tube, and Jo's body jumped. Turning her head, she saw a drunk man in a moldy overcoat. He held a half-empty bottle of JD in one hand, while his other waved a Good News Bible in the air. "Hey, little boy," he growled. "You know a prophet is nowhere without honour, but in his country and among his family. Family. Family."
It is our pleasure to announce that this year we have another new friend. he here, Constantine? Is James here?
James
Okay, so we'll wait. We are going on with Maria. Yes, please.
Maria Cristescu, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, is an Australian artist based in Sydney, New South Wales. Her work investigates different modalities in which information about the universe and related theories of the sublime are translated into contemporary works of art as a continuum of an artist's tradition, nascent in the 18th century Romanticism through a range of media, including painting, drawing, digital video, and day. Cristescu studio practice focuses on modes of making the unseen visible, preceding the unpresentable, and transformation metaphorically linked with alchemy. Cristescu's artwork explores connections between imagination and reality and attempt to elicit the feeling and state of mind associated with the experiences of the cosmic sublime. Cristescu practice is deeply ingrained in the atheistic of Romanticism and abstract expressionism. Her work follows in the steps of such visionary artists as J.M.W. Turner, Casimir Malevich, Helen Frank Thaler, Jackson Pollock, Barnett Newman, and Yves Klein, and operates alongside contemporaries including Ryoji Ikeda, Lindy Lee, Katie Patterson, and Semiconductor. Cristescu graduated with a Master of Fine Arts Painting 2020 and a Bachelor of Fine Art Painting 2018 from Sydney's prestigious National Art School.
Hello, everyone. Dragons have resided in our collective imagination for centuries as formidable and awe-inspiring mythical beings. Often portrayed as powerful, majestic, and wise, these creatures of enchantment have been used as significant motifs in literature and art, reflecting universal themes of creation, destruction, and perpetual transformation. In many mythologies, dragons transcend terrestrial existence and are deeply interconnected with the cosmic order. They inhabit heavenly dominions, control the elements, create celestial events, or safeguard cosmic treasures, signifying omnipresent forces that govern the universe. Across folklore and cultures, dragons are depicted as having supernatural powers, many times associated with celestial phenomena such as comets and eclipses, luminosity and obscurity, renewal, and constant change. In ancient China, the appearance of a comet was often interpreted as the celestial dragon passing through the heavenly skies, predicting major events or changes on Earth. Similarly, in medieval Europe, eclipses were sometimes explained as the result of dragons devouring the sun or the moon, depicting the ongoing battle between light and darkness in the cosmic order. In Norse mythology, the walled serpent
Jormungandr encircled the cosmos, biting its own tail, symbolizing the eternal cycle of creation and destruction, while the Japanese dragon Ryu was portrayed as a divine being, having the power of controlling the elements and ascending to the heavens. By being connected to celestial realms and enigmatic cosmic energies, dragons represent our endless quest to understand the world and our place in the universe. Whether feared or revered, dragons continue to fascinate and enchant. Their immense strength and otherworldly features prompting both sublime terror and breathless wonder. Their whimsical celestial dance is reminiscent of the unbounded mysteries that still lie beyond our comprehension, just waiting to be discovered. My video work, Incipient, is not only a visual statement about primordial cosmic forces and profound feelings. It is also an expression of our relentless search for knowledge.
Now I will present Luminita Serbanescu, an artist, photographer, a long way from Galatia, Romania, from the beautiful Danube River in the bush country of Australia, Canberra.
Hello everyone, and if someone from Galatia online, please say hello to Danube from me, and lots of love and hugs from me. Thank you. One step, one photo, one friend, one you. The time we walk, one step, one thought. Seeing, feeling, imagining, registering. Dreaming, remembering something from another time. The step we take, the thought we think. Who are we? What are we? Whose steps are we following? When are we going to stop? One more step. Maybe destination unknown, life. The pain of the unknown. You never stop thinking. Who are they? The shadows, the people, the thoughts, the sound that surrounds us. Can you hear us? That? The life that passed by. I was lost. I'm still lost. Destination unknown. Life. So I invite you on my journey. I like to travel. I like to photograph, and I'm impressed and overwhelmed by all that surrounds me, and I hope you enjoy the journey. Thank you.
Fernando is a percussionist and session musician, incorporating vocals and any type of percussion instrument. Specializing in Afro-Latin sounds, he has played in small and large events, including MTV Awards, as well as performing for international artists, including the Gypsy Kings, Rogue Traders, and Jimmy Barnes. He has also been involved in community projects to help develop amateur artists.
Well, hello everybody. Hello, it's nice to see everybody.
Just 1 second before you start now.
Sure, sorry.
I would like to invite everyone to have a taste of these extraordinary, delicious sweets made by, as usual, one here. Is there something that you want to tell us about them?
Well, these are called mamul pastries, and they're filled with either walnuts, pistachios, or dates. And we usually make them around Christmas time and Easter time, mainly just for the celebrations after we eat all our delicious food, our barbecues. We end it with a piece of mamul. So please enjoy. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Sweet music and even
Oh, well, okay. Well, well, there you see the energy. You know, I got on board and I didn't even look it that way, and I started already talking. So that's the energy that I guess I want to share with you today. First of all, thanks everybody again. It's familiar faces, you know, and I'm so honored to always be here and get invited to this beautiful event. And I hope, as Oriana said, keep going forever. Yeah. So I was thinking when Mihaela messaged me regarding this event and inviting me again. Thought about what to do. We usually bring some musicians, as you probably remember. We've brought in opera singers, we brought in, Mexican harp players, street musicians. We brought in, depending on the theme that we're writing about. And this year it's just been, what's the word? It's weird because it's well, not weird, but it's just things come together. And I'll tell you why. When Mihaela messaged me and I said, "Oh, well, what are you writing about this year?" Dragons. Well, I'm a dragon, so I'm a wooden dragon, which is this year is the wooden dragon. So I've come full circle since I was born. This year now is supposed to be my year as a wooden dragon. And I'm a twin, so my brother's also a wooden dragon. He's not here today. He's actually stuck in Richmond, Boyne Mountain, because of the rain. But he was coming today. So I said, well, get your wings to see if you can fly over anyway. But, everything's been aligning. Because a friend of mine, Chinese lady, did tell me that it was a dragon year. And I said, what does that mean to me, She said, well, I'm not sure. But it is a special year for you. And things started aligning. Things started sort of, this event and other things as well. And then I thought, what am I going to do? So I brought along my friend Leo Rizzo. He's a great percussionist and friend. He's a golden pig, we just found out, actually. But, golden pigs. So, how is the connection, for me today, and what is it that I wanted to do, and dancing with the dragons, and since Mihaela's invited me to this event, I've been thinking of what to do, and I've been dancing with dragons all the way. But now I've come to this realization that all I did was dance with the dragon, and I have no outcome. But I do have, I guess, the dragons to me is fire. It's sort of, we do a lot of rumba, so rumba and flamenco and things like that. That's got fire and passion in it. So I think that's what we'll do today. We'll just give you a little bit of that energy. So hopefully I will activate the dragon in me. Anyway. Again, what we'll do today also is so many creative people here, and this is good, this is so amazing when you're in the presence of a lot of creativeness. And what we'll do today is we'll do a couple of songs, but I'll create as I go along, because we will do that a lot. So that's also part of, I guess, this energy today. Yeah. So, ¿cuál es la canción que me has hecho?
Está en Madrid.
No, mira la otra.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo tenía un niño hermano que se tuvo que marchar, se tuvo que ir a Alicante sin poderlo remediar, y ahora llama todos los días con el ojo todo torcido. Alicante se había ido, a España se había ido, lágrimas y lágrimas lloró, que su dueño a lo mejor. Lágrimas y lágrimas lloró, porque en Madrid a lo mejor. Oye primo, yo te digo, vente pa' Madrid, porque ahí está mi hermano Antonio, vente pa' Madrid, y ahí está el chulabio Antonio, y mi hijo José Miguel, vente pa' Madrid, pero vente pa' Madrid, vente pa' Madrid, vente pa' Madrid, compadre, vente pa' Madrid, vente José Miguel, vente pa' Madrid, tú sabes que ahí no te quiero vivir, vente pa' Madrid, vente José Miguel, vente pa' Madrid, porque tú sabes que ahí no te puedo vivir. Y después vendrás a mí, pidiéndome perdón, pero mi corazón ya no pensará más en ti. Llorarás y llorarás, aunque nadie te dé la compensa, y así te darás tu cuenta que si te cambiando el día. Pero oye mira, yo soy flamenco, con mi pena yo lo siento, yo lo siento. Oye, pero mira, yo soy flamenco, mira, yo lo siento. I've had this cough for about 3 weeks and it came back. Sorry. Oh my God. That wasn't the creative part.
Oh my God, here we go. Got a little thing there. Yeah, maybe we should do an instrumental, maybe. Yeah.
Are we doing one more? Yes, please. Yeah, beautiful. You want one more?
Yes.
Yes.
Just excuse my throat. I've got some. It's just that little thing that's just. Oh, that dragon came into here.
Yeah, Richard?
Yeah. Agustito.
Okay, do Agustito. Puerta de atrás, donde está el ritmo caliente. Aquí todo el mundo quiere gozar. Yo sé que está mi gente. El pulmón yo me hace volar. Aquí no noche mi día. cambiaré. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tú ves. Soy de la parte y la puerta de atrás, eso no puedo negarlo. Me rompo la camisa si un mundo me da y luego acabo cantando. En esta vida me pongo a bailar, ya conmigo me canta. Dice la gente que no hay que callar, que no uno roba en el alma. Que todo en esta vida pasará y yo nunca cambiaré. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Soy de la parte y la puerta de atrás, eso no puedo negarlo. Me rompo la camisa si el mundo me da y luego acabo cantando. En esta vida me pongo a bailar, pero el tipo me mata. Dice la gente que no hay que callar, que no nos roben el alma. Que todo en esta vida pasará y yo nunca cambiaré. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves. Ahora que estamos tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tan a gustito, tú ves.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry about the voice. Thank you.
As I said before, we are very happy to welcome one of our new friends today. Our new friend is not really connected with poetry. He comes from a completely different field of activity. Still, we believe that he is a poet because he is with us today celebrating poetry and the anthology. His company's name is Joyce Crane and is based in the Pilbara region on Western Australia and has over the last 40 years become the regional heavy lifting and logistics specialist of choice. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome James Joyce. Welcome to the talk. Just to receive our gift and that's it. Thank you very much.
Now I will present Andreea Velia. Jalati Romania is a poet, novelist, dramatist and coordinator of different cultural live and online events, book launches, TV and podcast talk shows. His work merges the mundane approach of life with themes such as freedom, factuality, honor, and eternal verities, balancing his profession as an IT specialist with his creative writing.
Well, Andrei is not here today. He is in Romania being very busy with his latest play, I think, which was born last week on 28 or 29 of March, and with other things in Galați, Romania, his native town. But if we check the anthology on page number 5, we are going to can read a fragment of his poem called Imtandru pentru dragoste, libertate și distrugere. This is the title of the volume, published by Vina Publishing House in Romania 2021. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to offer the English translation of his poem. It's not raining anymore, but Andrei's poem is about rain. When it rains, Chopin, poem about my soul. When it rains in my soul, the rain trickles down a huge piano. Each drop plays separately a piece by Chopin. It's a scrambled noise in a shell, an old broken cassette which you put to your ear. You abandon all prejudice and listen to the sea in high fidelity. When it rains in my soul, blinded by the scarf, someone chooses the most contradictory feelings which I ever felt. They make me recognize them in three-card Monty, acknowledge them, put them into words, sit in all sorts of awkward positions doing the splits, feet stuck in continents moving aimlessly, while a DJ hallucinatorily remixes them on turntables. When it rains in my soul, I invoke an umbrella out of all kinds of arguments, sawn at random, patched by gorgeous, with gold spokes smiling brilliantly in the brightest morning sun. 7 hobos left their talks between them, 7 lovers their lingerie, 7 books their leaves. But I got tangled up in explanations, more drunk than Bakovia on his way to the next pub. When it rains in my soul, greenery grows, luxury grows lava, champagne or foam in the dishwasher when you pour detergent in a wrong spot. Grows, brings to the surface, grows the most intimate faces I have ever imagined for myself, which I'd bet it was me rewarding myself with a beer. I'd like to close my eyes, I'd like to have cotton in my ears, but I am neither tied nor forced, and I'm still able to see, witness, listen to all sorts of guys who pretend to be me. One of them is crying shyly, another one is laughing loudly, and yet another one is arrogantly giving life lessons. When it rains in my soul, I set fire to maps, draw the door for everyone. Chopin historically abandons his piano, runs away, the keys follow him faithfully, frightening the crowds on the plains. And all my reasoning argues for his continued playing on the keyless piano. When it rains in my soul, I claim a huge distillery just for myself, traveling dozens of times through a still. Rain is reduced to all the rivers from which it has evaporated. Lakes feel in their nostrils the sweat of pike-chase fish, or the scent of the virgin maiden swimming with her clothes on. When it rains in my soul, I envy my friends because they know me so well. Me, the one who has no idea who he is, the one who wonders when cursing rotten apples but applauding empty walnuts, the one who says something just so it's said, the one who supports a point of view just because those ideas have a right to exist too. The most intimate beliefs are like women whom you don't ask about their age. When it rains in my soul, the coffee cup fills up. The whiskey glass overflows, blaming a curse or all sorts of useless irritation over abstract notions such as the crowd, the world, mediocrity. When it rains in my soul, I expose the word behind the word, the feeling behind the feeling. I go out naked in the main street, I tremble on your opinions. When it rains in my soul, I simply listen to the rain. I stop harassing Chopin. I stop mentioning him at each roll of a droplet through the pipes. It's raining water, not pianos. It's raining, just raining. That's all. Rain returns to the vast puddles of the neighborhood, cherishing the subversive idea of flying again. Thank you.
And now for our second and final bracket of readers, we're going to invite Lona Kruger to come up to the microphone, and she's going to read an excerpt from her poem, The Unchosen Door, which is on page 78. And just as a way of introducing Ilona, I'm going to tell you a quote that I pinched from her, which I rather liked, which says, life is full of little moments that string together to make a unique kaleidoscope, giving us much to share. And I think it's got a lot to say how we've got so much in common, but our own specific understanding of it makes it something worth telling somebody else about. Please come up and read. Thank you.
The Unchosen Door. There are 4 doors to happiness, the word said, but choose wisely, as you can only enter one once, and only one can enter, the fine print said. He who hesitates has lost, my companions were sure, as they made up their minds with firm resolute, and dashed their way to their favoured door. The door to knowledge revealed musty old books, filling every corner, inviting wisdom, essence of life, perception and insight, mastery and proficiency, literature and poetry, philosophy and science, all holding wonder, overflowing the mind, seeking and finding and thirsting for more. And then comes the realisation that one can't live in the past. The door to wealth promised riches invitingly, diamonds and gold, opals and pearls, lavish fabrics, stupendous art, daily revisions, counting and itemising, guarding and watching, protecting one's hoard, fighting off looters, sleeping with keys, friends gathering with snake smiles, but no one to trust. The door to power open to lofty platforms, self-promoting acoustics and mega-loud microphones, cameras and spotlights and signature marketing, plastic applause rippling acclaim for each word, lies and deceit cloaked by crafty promises, memes and platitudes, self-acclamation, hypnotic illusion, invested with loneliness when the scaffold becomes rust. So now it is my turn. What choice do I have? The last of the doors is shabby, diminutive. A scratching is etched. I can barely decipher. A message, a warning, or a riddle to reveal. D, D, D. What lies beyond? I delay and I dawdle. I debate and I disallow. Is it the door of death and doom I approach? I bait my breath and allay my mistrust. But there's more.
Yes, as always, there's usually more for the reader to comprehend. Thank you. I'd now like to ask Luke to come in and read for Peter Cartwright. Peter's known for his contribution to literary projects in Western Sydney and beyond, with an impressive body of work relevant to Parramatta. He can't make it today because of flooding, rains, bad railway lines and impossible buses. So please look at page 24 and you will see that he's called his poem Dancing Dragons with a subtitle of Or How to Be Unafraid of Anything. Thank you, Luke, for reading for him.
Dancing Dragons, or How to Be Unafraid of Anything. I am not afraid now of storms and cracking thunder, of swords of fire falling from the sky
or gusts of wind that rattle my windows. I have dragons hanging above my bed. One of them is red, and the other one is blue, that dance for me in the breeze. I sometimes watch them as they rock back and forth on their silver chains and wonder, are they thinking? Of what do dragons think? Are there only thoughts for me? Is that what makes them dance? My dragons fly above my bed, and I am not afraid now of nightmares that never seem to end, bullies berating me in the street, or no dessert for dinner tonight. I am not afraid to keep silent or to speak with a dragon dancing on my breath, burning fire in my belly and swimming in my blood. I take dragons out for a walk, and they dance as we go. And I am not afraid now of that big black dog down the street with a chainsaw bark and chainsaw teeth behind that rickety paling fence. I am not afraid to look at the sky and dream of flying there, but to think of delving the ocean depths and deciding whether or not to breathe. I always breathe. My dragons tell me to. I am not even really afraid of whether my dragon poem will write itself right here. I have dancing dragons above my bed, and they tell me to be unafraid of anything. Sometimes put my fluffy slippers and take my favorite dragon down so we can dance together, not even embarrassed, because we are unafraid of anything.
Thank you very much, Luke. And now, Catalin and Anastase is going to come and read for our dear friend Anishwara Laura Mustecu, who is a writer and a broadcaster, and whose latest book, The Prize of Honour, is available in English, just to give it a plug. Okay, very interesting book indeed. And she's unfortunately able to attend today, like quite a few other people. Her poem is on page 57. It's called Australia's Fires. And thank you, Catalin, to be doing the task for her today.
Life experience could be unique and inestimable. And exactly those values I aim to capture in my poems. Life experience could be an adventure, a powerful dream, an illusion, an inner power, or even a challenging dragon that we have to fight with. The dragons in my story are the Australian bushfires from 2019. The stars do not shine tonight. Today the sky turned dark. It carries so much grief inside. Little flames across the forest were burning all plants alive. Huge flames and hungry torrents went deeper and deeper, gliding more and more inside, and innocent souls in burning currents, in scathing flames cried and died. There perished koalas, wallabies. There perished so many possums. When creamy flowers of eucalyptus trees have just started to blossom, a burning white-bellied sea eagle is still flying over the gray branches despite its destiny that robbed all its life chances. Exhausted firefighters. Such angels on earth are still battling with fires, conquering the dead as hot wings are luring, hungry, inspiring dread. Leave now is sharply echoing in the villagers' minds. holding tight their children, leaving all behind, watching for a moment, all belonging, disappearing. In the flaming night, a kookaburra on a stump is watching, frightened, the bare dark trees as the crushed forest strives to breathe. The forests are smoldering and moaning. There is no breeze, and the stars do not shine tonight, mourning for the forest without trees, and the sky, carrying so much grief inside, is frozen in pain.
Thank you so much for a wonderful reading. Now, Belinda Kirby is another one of our poets who cannot be here today, and that's not because of trains, but for other circumstances. She writes poetry, sometimes stories, and I like to always tell people this one. She's illustrated 3 anthologies which all sold out, which is not all that easy to do, as many of us know. She has written a poem for us, A Brave Recollection. It's on page 97, and it'll be read by Sam Shimone. Thank you, Sam.
A Brave Recollection. The subtle art of dancing dragons, breathing flames of courage, brave ambitions bigger than life, preceded with enthusiasm, parachuting wings, dancing their mark, painting their boldest vision. A manifestation that wrestles reality, spreading wisdom's wings, forming expansions, enlisted for the course, embraced bravely, entwined in the dance, living the perception, seizing the soul, faced with a brave recollection.
Thank you. Thank you, Catalin, and thank you, Sam. Right, for our very last reading, we are going to have Marion Clare is going to read for Jay Malahuyo, who's a Filipino-Australian living on Wangal land who captures identity and mental health in whimsical fashion, and she's not available today, unfortunately. Her poem, I Am an Anxious Caterpillar, is on page 32, and if Marion could come on please and read for her, and that will be our finale.
A journal with sturdy wide arms enveloped and soaked me in, allowing me to rest, hidden from the world. I would spend days lying on its blue lines, letting myself untangle into graceful curves of an S, the folded butterfly of an F, the bold loops of Ys. In my naivety, I believed no one would be interested in the ramblings of a preteen, so it did not hide my journal well enough. A witch was about, and secrets were her favourite dish to serve. She found my journal under my pillow. She lifted it and shook out bits of my voice to feed to her pet parrots. Finding my words, blotting out the newspaper as shit on the bottom of cages, on the floor of the living room, on the grass in the backyard of another house at a party caused me to curl inward. My thoughts are leaking. Tip of my tongue compulsively restrained between teeth as unconsciously as synapses firing. Always checking, 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 a little press, a little pain to know, yes, yes, my tongue is still there, still between. In the middle of my own silent battle, a parrot with downward, mocking crescent eyes came pecking for answers. Who is this? This one you say you love? His name, which I had never spoken, not even to him, was flapping from this parrot's beak. Unable to let thoughts bathe, my voice was held for a decade in the witch's grip. My overthoughts escape through shaking legs, crossing, uncrossing toes, cold, clammy palms, dead skin, from restless fingers, flaked from scrapes by anxious thumbs.